This is the Darling of the Forgotten State, unofficial OTS member, Noah Vale, and you're tuned in to the OTS Project.
So I'm sitting there, right? I'm just trying to get home, right? I got my groceries. I hop in my spaceship, and I start flying home. All of a sudden, I see two ships going at it, and there's like a dogfight going on, right? All of a sudden, this one ship, he starts like he was chasing, but then he's like going away, and I see this little pod come out of his ship, and I'm like, oh, that thing's going like kind of right towards that other ship. And all of a sudden, somehow, some way, all the audio in the entire premises cuts out for a second, and then all of a sudden, I just see a giant bubble, and it just goes, "Boing," and everything in a giant radius just all went flying, bro. It was crazy. Yeah.
That's
Wild stuff. Wild stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to OTS News, episode 11. What's going on, Theo?
This is episode 11?
This is episode 11.
Crazy. It
man.
just flies by, man. It just flies by. I am a bit sick, so future apologies to audio listeners if I'm coughing a little bit. I think I've gotten a little bit of a cold or kind of a cold part 2 because I was feeling better, and then all of a sudden I wasn't again. So I feel like I'm back a little bit on the rise, but we'll see what happens. But as of right now, I'm a bit sick. So that has not been very, very fun. Other than that, I've been just kind of working, relaxing, eating soup, getting back into my drums a little bit, but
Good soup.
nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
I did see Tron Ares, I think, last weekend, which
What'd you think?
it was quite mid, but I still liked it. If that makes any sense, it was a 5 out of 10, but it's a 5 out of 10 that I like.
Well, it's one of those. It seems it's probably one of those cases where maybe it's not a good movie, but it's still a fun movie.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I did not see Tron Ares, so I can't really give an opinion. But I will say I have been seeing a ton of TikToks about it. It is a very divisive movie for sure. I've seen a lot of this is mid, and I've seen a lot of nobody's giving it a chance. It's actually a great movie, so it is very divisive. It does seem like it kind of flopped at the box office, and I think you've probably seen the reports too that Disney's looking to kind of retire the Tron franchise, at least in a movie sense, after this because of the fact that it flopped. I say maybe let's just stop casting Jared Leto in giant roles.
I think that's really what it is. Yeah, that's what it is.
Because it's a thing that I've seen on Twitter where what were the franchises he was in? Obviously the Sony Marvel movies. He kind of killed that franchise. There was another one that I'm kind of blanking on that he was in that also kind of killed the franchise as well. Maybe it was like Suicide Squad, but I feel like that still went on for a little bit. The DCEU went on for a little bit, so I wouldn't fully put that on him. But yeah, it does kind of seem like Jared Leto, at least in a starring role sense, is not the leading guy that I guess people, or not even people, but I'd say companies expect him to be anymore.
Right.
As well as he's just not I know you're somewhat of a fan of him, but he's just not a great person from certain things that I've seen.
What do you mean? I'm not a fan of him at all. What the fuck?
Oh, I thought you were.
No.
Oh, okay.
Don't put that out there. I don't want that out there.
Oh, okay. So yeah, maybe that's just the move, is just stop casting Jared Leto in these giant roles. Yeah. So yeah, on my end of things, the pool is still trucking along. We officially have cement in the ground, and it's nice and dry. I was walking on it yesterday, so it is they got to do the decking and stuff like that, and then I think once the deck and stuff is done, then we're pretty much done. Obviously the screen still has to go in and stuff like that, but we could easily be swimming in a pool without a screen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Technically, we could swim in the pool right now, but you don't want to mess with the cement while they have to do all the decking and stuff. And the pool needs to be cleaned, which kind of leads into, I think, why you may be sick. Because
I would recommend cleaning that pool out first.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just my personal preference.
Yeah. for those that may or may not have seen, you can't see it in the back, but I finally got my OTS championship back after Theo stole it SummerSlam weekend. There's a video on our socials if you want to go see it. But I threw Theo into the pool, which I didn't think it would be that crazy because it was just there's some dirt in there obviously, but it didn't seem like super disgusting, and you weren't like swimming in the pool. You went in the pool and then you immediately got out and took a shower. But apparently it still took its toll on you because now you're sick. So yeah, that's I will put the blame on the pool for that one because I think the pool is what got you sick. But yeah, other than that, just kind of chilling. I think a little bit of a change that's gonna happen here. I think not here, but for me, I think you see this giant Funko wall that's to the side of me here. That's
how could I miss it? It's
that's
literally a wall.
And it's been here for years. I think it's time that the Funkos go, man. I think I have I'm at the point where I'm done collecting Funkos. The last Funko I have that I've gotten was from you for my birthday, and that one I'm gonna keep a few. I think so for those that don't know, Theo knows this wall. I have this wall, but then also in my closet I have a bunch in my closet, and then in the garage there's like 3 bins full of Funko Pops. I went through a website to like categorize everything and make sure I know what I have. There's like 170 Funko Pops in my collection. So I think I'm going to try and limit it down to like 30 and keep like 30 total. But I think overall, I think the Funko Pops are definitely going. So yeah, I think that's my biggest thing is I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of all these Funko Pops. So if anybody's listening or watching and wants to buy some Funko Pops, hit me up. I'm trying to get out before it becomes a full Beanie Baby situation, because it's definitely headed that way. And I've definitely seen that it's headed that way for the past couple years. So I'd like to at least get out and make some money before it becomes a full Beanie Baby thing, and every Funko Pop I own is worth maybe $1, if that. So yeah, that's my biggest thing. I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of all those. I'm also gonna get rid of my record player. I think I'm gonna get rid of the record player because I don't really use it. And me and Wyatt, we've been hanging out and whatnot. He's very big into physical media, very big into like DVDs and things like that. I think I'm going to switch from the record player. I'm going to sell that or get rid of that. I think I'm going to get a CD player because honestly, the CDs are way easier to collect because they're way smaller, as well as the CD player itself is easier to like kind of store. And also that's what I grew up with. Like I didn't grow up with vinyl records, you know what I'm saying? That's not a thing I grew up with. I grew up with CDs. So like that's actually nostalgic for me. I think I only had the vinyl record because it's like a cool concept. So that's another thing. I think I'm getting rid of that, and I'm gonna start collecting CDs instead of vinyl records. So
right. It's definitely a bit of an easier medium to get into.
Yeah, because I've definitely like hanging out with Wyatt has influenced me a little bit. Because every time we like go to a store, especially Walmart, he's sitting in like the CD section for like 20 minutes looking at CDs. They're also cheaper because you buy vinyl and it's like $20, $30, $40. A newer CD is like $14, but like I can go to Walmart and there's like a Fall Out Boy CD and it's like $6. So it's also a lot cheaper to collect. So I think that's the move for sure. But yeah, that's kind of all I've got going on from what I can remember at least. So yeah, let's jump into our song of the week. Mr. Theo, what is your song of the week?
My song of the week is going to be "The Son of Flynn" by Daft Punk. It's definitely very Tron. It's a very Tron week for me. Even though it's not that great of a movie, I still did enjoy Tron Ares, and it's got me more hyped for just Tron in general. And this song is a fucking banger. That whole album might just be one of my favorite movie soundtracks of all time. It's so fucking goated. I love that whole movie, that whole series. And this song is definitely a banger. I've been seeing it all over TikTok because I've just been getting a bunch of Tron TikTok
Our neighbor is having
the past week since Tron Ares just come out. So that's been a big reason why this is my song of the week.
That's pretty cool.
Good.
My song of the week is gonna be it's gonna be "Hole in the Earth" by Deftones. Deftones in general, I just love. I think they're great. I've always kind of known about them, but I will say shout out to Miss Lexi Gomez. She kind of really put me onto them a couple of years ago and stuff. But "Hole in the Earth" is my favorite Deftones song, and that one obviously is from Saints Row 2. So I obviously discovered that years ago in Saints Row 2. But all their songs are great. So I've been on a bit of a kick for kind of Deftones recently. I think they're great. Oh, another thing too, I realized I just sent it to you before we started recording, and this really means nothing to anybody except me, but I think it's cool. I figured out I could do like custom cover art for my playlist on YouTube Music, so that's been something that was like that has consumed my whole morning before doing this podcast, was me finding like cool kind of cover photos and stuff like that to do for all my different playlists and stuff. So yeah. All right.
Nice.
Our
Fives?
yeah, you know what? I want to jump in real quick to our OTS showcase for a second.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Because this one is kind of cool. This one is not. It's not anybody we actually know. No. This has been like a recent thing, and you have no clue about this because you have no you have like no control or anything over our social medias. So I want to give a second to shout out the Nerdcat podcast on TikTok here. They like followed us and they've been kind of liking and commenting our stuff and whatnot. And I've looked at their clips and they do a bunch of cool stuff, similar stuff to us. They do a lot of kind of anime stuff, Marvel stuff, very similar to us. So yeah, I just want to kind of shout them out because I think it's kind of cool to have that camaraderie a little bit, and kind of connect. Yeah. So maybe too one day we can do like a collab. That'd be kind of cool if like all of us can hop on and do a podcast together. I think it would be cool. So check out the Nerdcat podcast on TikTok, YouTube, things like that, and stuff. Because DJ and Jinzo, as I'm looking at their bio here, are the hosts. So if we can get DJ, Jinzo, Kyle Bridger, and Theo on a podcast together, I think that'd be pretty cool. So yeah, shout out the Nerdcat podcast. That's our OTS showcase of the week.
Oh yeah.
All right, our blind rank for the week. This one's gonna be a fun one because mine. We'll go first with mine. Because mine.
Okay.
Mine plays.
A bit of a fun one.
Mine plays into our intro there because I was struggling to figure out a little rant or rambling intro. So I saw, speaking of podcasts on TikTok, I saw the Escape Pod podcast do something similar with this topic, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious. So I need you to blind rank your top 5. Well, not your top 5. I'm going to give you 5 Star Wars sounds, and you're going to have to rank them.
Ooh, I like this. I like this a lot. This is going to be great.
Yeah, shout out the Escape Pod podcast. I kind of stole the idea, but I just thought it's way too good to not use. So, all right, first one is going to be the one that we talked about in the intro. It's going to be whatever, I don't know what it's called, but the Jango Fett bomb that he gets out, and it kills every ounce of audio for like 5 seconds.
You gotta look that up because I feel like it's some sort of mine. I feel like
I need to. As you do that, I need to like.
That's what it's called.
Pull up. Okay, I need to pull up the actual like sounds and play them so that we can all hear them. All right, so here's the seismic charge. Well, let me make sure my audio is all right. Did you hear that?
Yes, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
The
problem is
great.
There's so many good sounds in Star Wars that I don't know if I could automatically put the 1. I think I'm gonna keep it safe and put it at the 2. But it's so fucking good.
All right. Okay. Your next one is gonna be.
I feel like every kid watching that movie, it's like a moment in history for them when they first hear that, because it's like, it's really the deafening before it happens and then it happens, and it's just like yes. But it's at my number 2.
All right. Your next one is going to be an iconic. I mean, all of these are kind of iconic. It's going to be the TIE Fighter Screech. Let me play this.
Yep. Like that is so iconic. This is going to be such a tricky list to make for sure.
Yeah.
But damn, I think I'll go with the 4. I think I'll put it at the 4.
Okay. All right.
Just because I don't know what else is coming.
Your next one may be my number 1. It's incredible, and it also there's multiple versions of this, but we'll just go off of like the generic one. So your next pick is going to be the lightsaber ignition sound. Ooh. So clean.
The ignition itself is powerful, but then it just kind of goes into that.
Yeah.
And that's really what hits. That's really.
It's so good.
I think
it's so good.
To me, I think that's a solid 3. I think
Okay.
it's a solid 3. I don't think it beats the seismic charge, but like it's definitely solid for sure.
It's oh yeah. All right, your next one, maybe the number one, is gonna be Darth Vader's breathing.
This has to be one. This has to be one, man. When this is done correctly, chills everywhere. It's crazy, bro. It's so like in terms of like a Rogue One situation or a Fallen Order situation. When you hear this shit, bro, time stops.
Yeah.
And you just get chills everywhere. It has to be the number one. It has to be.
All right. What's your list so far?
Vader's at 1, seismic charge is at 2, lightsabers at 3, TIE fighters at 4. So I think
All right,
number
so
5 is just the last one.
Your number 5 is gonna be Saboba's Pod Racer.
Oh my god. This is the number 5 sound. But for me personally, I fucking love this fucking sound. It's my favorite pod racer sound out of all of them, bro. It's so fucking nostalgic for me.
It's great.
I'm okay with putting it to 5, but realistically, I would move it up to 3 if I could. This shit's so fucking gas to me.
It is really good. It is really good. All right, so your full list is.
It's Vader's at 1, seismic charge is at 2. If we're going off how I ranked it, we're doing lightsaber at 3, TIE fighter at 4, Saboba at 5.
Okay.
But if I had my way, I'd probably move Saboba up to 3 and just knock everything else down 1.
Okay. If I had to do this, I'd probably put Vader breathing at 1, lightsaber at 2, the Jango bomb at 3, probably Saboba's Pod Racer at 4, and the TIE fighter screech at 5. But they're all incredible sounds.
They're all incredible. That's really one of the best things about Star Wars is just the number of like iconic and memorable sounds and stuff like that. There were a lot that I thought that were going to be on this list. I didn't think that were going to be on this list. Like the Tusken Raider, the I thought that was coming.
Right.
I thought like the Jawas
Hey man,
talking.
there's
was coming.
always room for a part 2.
There's always room for a part 2. I'm expecting it. I'm expecting it at some point. Maybe not next week, but sometime soon. Maybe Star Wars Day. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, there we go.
That's definitely a fun one for sure.
Yeah.
I also have a bit of a fun one here, but in a completely opposite sense. I'm going to have you blind rank funny gimmicks. These are going to be like comedic gimmicks, comedy gimmicks, sort of stuff in WWE and whatnot.
All right.
Hold on 1 second. I had to let that out real quick. I'm sorry. I had to let that
You're good. You're good.
All right. The first one I'm going to give you is going to be my GOAT, Jimmy Wang Yang.
Ooh. All right. I do love me some Jimmy Wang Yang. I'll put him. I don't know what's coming, so I'll put him in the middle ground, at the 3 spot.
Okay, 3 is a solid choice here. Next one is going to be Santino Marella.
Ooh. All right, Santino, another good. He's definitely more of a staple of my childhood and teenage years more than Jimmy Wang Yang, because Jimmy Wang Yang was only a thing for like 2 years or something like that. Santino was there for a very long time, but personal preference, I'm not gonna lie, I may put him in the 5 spot actually. I never like.
Wow.
I have nostalgia for him, but he was never like one of my favorite guys. So he may go into the 5 spot.
Okay, this one's a bit of a sleeper. This one's a bit underrated, but I really really like this one. I really liked it a lot when I was growing up. Next one is gonna be Damien Mizdow.
Ooh, I'll put him in the. Are we talking about him like just the stunt double?
Just the stunt double.
Okay, then I'll probably
Just
put him
double.
I'll put him in the 2 spot. It was very enjoyable for its time for sure. I wish he got more. I think the biggest thing he ever got was like, I think he won a battle royal at like. No, he didn't. He didn't even win the Andre
lost
battle
it
royal.
to Big Show.
Right.
I'm still salty about that.
Right.
10 years
So he
later,
really.
so.
I think the biggest thing that came out of that, weren't they tag champions once during that run? I believe.
I think they were tag champions. I think so. For a
So
little
he
bit.
definitely deserved a lot more, even outside of the Mizdow gimmick. Just Damien Sandow in general deserved a lot more. He was very entertaining wrestler.
All right. The fourth one I'm going to give you here is the Hurricane.
Oh, that's my number one. Come on now. Not only is he just great. He's literally one of my favorite wrestlers. Like he's in like my he's not in my top 5, maybe not even necessarily top 10, but top 20 he's probably in there. I think Shane Helms in general is just a really great wrestler, and the Hurricane gimmick was really fun and very nostalgic for me, even though when I was fully in wrestling he was kind of like gone from WWE a little bit, and then he came back for a run, but he came back and like they didn't really do anything with him. Still very nostalgic though, because I had the action figures of him. I had, the video games that he was in. So definitely one of my favorite gimmicks growing up as a kid. Probably my favorite gimmick, because honestly, like, if you look at like Rey Mysterio, he's not really a gimmick. He was just like a masked wrestler. So if we're talking about like a full-on character, Hurricane is probably maybe like, he's definitely my favorite as a kid. He may just be my favorite wrestling character in general. So yeah, easy number 1.
I will say there definitely is a bit of a. I don't know if you remember this. I'm more sure you do, but it was the 2018 Royal Rumble.
Yes.
And he came back, and we were over at your friend's house, and when his music hit, we all jumped off the fucking.
Not my friend anymore. Not my friend anymore.
Not ex friend's house.
Yeah.
Ex-friend's
there you
house. And
yeah,
then,
we all
course,
jumped.
last
Hold on. I want to add real quick. A while ago, this is like years ago, right? I was like following Hurricane on like his. Obviously, I follow him on his social media, and
Right.
so this is before he was like back as a producer for WWE. He was like on the Indies still wrestling, and so he had his pro wrestling tees, and he was selling like he was promoting like, hey, this weekend only, if you buy a shirt off my pro wrestling tees, I'll send you an 8x10, like a signed 8x10. So I was like, oh, hell yeah. So I asked my dad, I'm like, hey, would you mind if I get this Hurricane t-shirt? And I don't have it anymore, but it was pretty simple. It was just like a black shirt, and on the front had like his mask, and then on the back probably just said like the Hurricane or Shane Helms. I don't think he could say the Hurricane. So I bought the shirt, and I get the free 8x10, and I didn't realize like I didn't put in the notes anywhere my name. And so they, I guess if you didn't know your name, he just went off of like the billing statement, but the billing statement was my dad. So it says 2. It's the number 2, Heath, but he didn't spell it Heath. He spelled it Heith for some reason, and then puts the Hurricane.
So like Keith with an H at the front.
Yes, and then it writes the Hurricane. I think I still have it like in my closet somewhere.
That's
man.
amazing.
So good. And then with just my luck, I went and opened the bag, and it like pro wrestling tees. If anybody's bought a pro wrestling t-shirt, it comes like in a bag, not a box. So I used a scissor to open the bag. I cut the t-shirt. I cut the t-shirt like right to like the left of the stomach. So I still wore it, but like I didn't wear it a lot, obviously, because it's got like it had like a hole in it. So yeah, not a great experience, but I think I still do have my Keith Heath Hurricane 8x10 in my closet somewhere.
That's fucking hilarious.
I'll have to see if I can find it, and I'll send you a photo, or I'll post it on Twitter and shit like that.
Yes, please post it. We gotta see this. And then
So
obviously the last one has to be R2.
Oh, all right. What's my last spot? What was it?
I think your last one was 4. I think that's
Okay.
the last spot you have open is 4.
Yeah, I would probably put him in like the 2 spot and bump everybody down by 1. Because obviously he is great. He's been honestly such a crucial part of like wrestling in general. Like for me, because he had that one run in WWF when he was K-Quick, which again I did not experience because I wasn't in wrestling at the time. But again, I still had like the video games and stuff that he was in during that time, so I did still grow up with that. And then obviously I would watch him sometimes in TNA, and then he obviously came back to WWE in like 2007, and I've just been watching him ever since as R-Truth. So he definitely has like such an impact on like when it comes to nostalgia for sure. I used to love, I still love watching him, but as a kid when he like came back and I think he won like the U.S. title from Shelton Benjamin, I remember like I was watching that episode of SmackDown, and I was just like super happy that R-Truth won the title and stuff. I remember I like made sure to get the R-Truth figure. Like I definitely was and still am a big R-Truth guy, so it's okay that he's in the 4th spot, but if I had my way, my list would go Hurricane, R-Truth, Mizdow, Jimmy Wang Yang, and then Santino at the 5.
All right, nice. I'd probably have obviously I gotta have Jimmy at the 1. Obviously that's my guy right there.
right.
R-Truth at the 2. I think just because he's got to be the next up. He's just that good at being a comedy gimmick and just is always reliable in that sense. I'm gonna do Mizdow at 3. I know it wasn't for a very long one, but I
Right.
enjoyed the hell out of Damien Mizdow, and I definitely agree that I think Sandow in general should have gotten a lot more than he did, because he was fucking great. I'm gonna do Santino at 4 and Hurricane at 5.
Bro,
Not because
bro,
I don't like
bro.
Hurricane, but just I
Holy
just don't
shit.
have the nostalgia for Hurricane. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Like
All
I didn't
right.
grow up with him and stuff like that, so I don't have that nostalgia.
That's true. By the time you got into wrestling, it was like 2011, 2012, and like
Yeah.
he was
had just
long
been at
gone.
that point.
Right. He was gone by then. So okay, you definitely you have more nostalgia with like Mizdow, Sandow, and like Santino and shit.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I was looking on my, so I have the Funkos here, but like above the Funkos, like there, I have like just some wrestling figures that are spewed about. I do have a Hurricane figure. I'm not gonna get up and grab it, but I do have a Hurricane figure sitting up there. So
Hell yeah.
yes, sir. All right, we got some news that we gotta break down. We got a good bit of news. I feel like it's been a minute. I feel like it's been a couple weeks since we've had like a good kind of bit of news to discuss. So let's dive into it. The official trailer, the first trailer for Wonder Man, has released. Theo, did you watch this? Because we did not talk about this at all.
Fuck. I feel like it was one of those trailers that I watched with no audio while I was at work, just to kind of like sneak watch it.
Okay.
But I did kind of see there's like, it's like there's 2 Wonder Men. I think one that's like older and one that's younger.
So this
I
came
didn't
out.
read the premise. I
This
should've
came
read the
out.
premise.
This came out on Saturday when we were like together recording, and I said, "Oh, once we're done recording this podcast, we'll go watch it on the TV." And then we both just completely forgot about it, and so I watched it like a day or two later. Yeah, so it's like so random. So in I guess the universe, Wonder Man was like this huge successful movie in like the 80s or something like that they want to reboot, and so this dude Simon, who's the main character, he's obviously trying to audition to be Wonder Man. Along with, I think what you thought the older guy it's not who Wonder Man was. The older guy is Trevor Slattery from Iron Man 3 and Shang-Chi. And so he is like going, and he's also auditioning, even though he's older. He's like trying to get like one last big role, I guess, before he kind of dies or whatever. They give nothing away really in this trailer. It's literally just that. It's like 2 minutes, but it's literally just that. They give no story beats away. They don't show, because obviously he gets like powers and stuff. I'm not too familiar with the character, so I don't know what his powers are, but he does get like powers and stuff. But they give nothing the story away. The whole trailer is literally just, we're rebooting this huge mega superhero movie from the 80s now, and we're looking for the next Wonder Man. And then it's just Trevor Slattery and the dude Simon. I'm forgetting the actor's name, but he's a very good actor as well. Just like competing, but also kind of teaming up to like try and get this role. So there's not much to like really even break down, but obviously we do have to talk about it. But yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued. It definitely looks different than most Marvel kind of shows, because this is very focused on like Hollywood and acting, and he's trying to be an actor, and I'm assuming along the ways he gets his power somehow and stuff like that. So I'm very intrigued because it does look very different than what we're used to with like a Marvel show, but I don't have anything to like really be hyped about or like be intrigued by, other than just that kind of sole fact.
Yeah, I think this is really it's going to be a bit interesting, because I feel like if you're not big in like the comics and stuff like that, you're not really going to know who Wonder Man is. So I don't think either of us really have any much experience with Wonder Man at all.
Right.
But I think that's also kind of the exciting thing, is that it's just going to be one of those new things where it's like we're kind of getting to experience this for the first time. And I feel like that's always a fun thing with a character that isn't really known too much about outside of like the comic books and whatnot.
Right.
So, to me, I think I've always just kind of thought of Wonder Man as kind of just a similar case to almost maybe like a Superman in a sort of sense. I don't know if that's actually true or not. Again, we don't really know too much about Wonder Man, but I mean, I'm always going to be intrigued by whatever stuff they're going to do. I'm always going to be intrigued by new stuff, but I'm not excited, but I'll be watching it, probably.
No. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I know nothing about it, but that is kind of also the fun part too, is experiencing a character and learning about a character that we know nothing about. As well as it does pique my interest more, because I do kind of just enjoy like the Hollywood production, behind the scenes movie making kind of aspect of any movie or show, like whether it's a movie or show based off of that, or it's the actual behind the scenes of a movie or show. I'm always very intrigued by that, so that also piques my interest to see like the the theme of the show is him trying to like be a struggling actor, trying to get roles and stuff like that, I'm very, very intrigued by. So, yeah. All right, John Cena Survivor Series. We know that John Cena, he only has, I believe, four dates left.
4 dates, I think. Yeah.
But one of them, obviously, one of them is his last match. One of them is like a Raw in Boston. Another one is Madison Square Garden. But his next appearance, I believe, is supposed to be Survivor Series. I believe they confirmed that he will be at Survivor Series. So I just want to talk about what we think he's going to do at Survivor Series. Is he even going to wrestle? Is he just going to show up and cut a promo, or is he going to have a match? I would hope he has a match, and I have a theory of what it could be.
Me and my coworker have came up with this idea recently, within the past week, of what we would want John Cena to do for these last few dates, in terms of like what the last hoorah should be. So there's been this teasing going around a little bit, kind of mainly by our current Intercontinental Champion, Dirty Dominic Mysterio, in where he's kind of like, if John Cena wants it, he can come and get it, sort of thing.
Right.
And so we were kind of theorizing this idea of John Cena, Dominic Mysterio, they go one-on-one for the Intercontinental title. John Cena wins it, becomes Grand Slam champion, and obviously he only has like a few dates left. So at the very last date, he walks in Intercontinental champion, does one last open challenge of sorts at Saturday night's main event. Who accepts this Intercontinental Championship? None other than Sheamus. Sheamus beats John Cena for the Intercontinental Champion, becomes a Grand Slam champion himself, as he truly deserves to be. And that's John Cena's last little favor to WWE, is to make another Grand Slam champion out of Sheamus, which he does deserve. So that's what we've been kind of workshopping at the workplace while we're not working, is coming up with these ideas, which I think would be super fucking cool. He agrees that it'd be super cool. I think there are a lot of people that would fuck with that, but that's just my desire, I guess, not so much of a theory, because it's definitely not gonna happen, I don't think, but I think it'd be dope.
You know, honestly, to me at this point, anything that gets this IC championship on Sheamus is my way to go. So I'm fully on board with that. I think it'd be really cool, and a really fun idea. I thought you were gonna say Gunther, and Gunther comes and wins the IC title again and goes on another like 2-year run.
I'm honestly kind of against Gunther being like John Cena's last opponent. I know that name is being thrown around a lot. I know it was thrown around a lot, and maybe earlier in the year I would have been for it, but he's just been gone for so long now at this point that it honestly doesn't even really feel like something that I would really fuck with. I think John and Sheamus would be a good last hoorah, especially because Edge was also, or Sheamus was also Edge's last opponent in WWE as well before Edge left to go to AEW. So I think there's a little bit of story to be told with that as well.
No, for sure. I mean, I'm fully on the Gunther board. I don't care what anybody else says. I'm fully on the Gunther board. If he beats John Cena, that just makes him even bigger. And I don't agree with the. He's just been gone. You know, sometimes you gotta protect these guys in a sense, and Gunther being gone is kind of protecting him, because there's a thing, like it's similar to a Brock Lesnar thing, even though, you know, Brock Lesnar's a little too much, but it's like you can't. Obviously, Brock Lesnar doesn't want to work a ton, but it helps with his character, where it's like, if you had Brock Lesnar there every week, what the fuck do you do? Because he's just going to run through people, or you're going to get to a point where he starts looking bad because he's going to have to lose, or da-da-da. I think it's a similar situation with Gunther, and I'm not mad about it, where Gunther's gone because Gunther kind of has to be gone, because if you have Gunther there every week, either A, he's going to just run through everybody, and it's going to be very boring and annoying, or B, something that was already happening when he lost to Jey Uso, everybody's going to go, well, this guy fucking sucks. He loses all the time now, and he lost to a crossbody by Jey Uso. So I actually fully agree with what they're doing with Gunther, because I think he does need to be gone, come in, do whatever story he's doing, and then be gone again, because that's how you protect him and protect his character. So if he rolls up, I think the last time we saw him was when he lost to Punk at SummerSlam. So he loses to Punk at SummerSlam. He's gone. He rolls up, refreshed, ready to go, beats the shit out of John Cena and leaves him laying. And that's how you go, okay, yeah, Gunther's back. But we're not talking about John Cena's last match here. We're talking about Survivor Series. And I do agree. I do like your idea. And my idea, I already told you, and it's definitely not going to happen. But we're just like, we're not really going off of what we think is going to happen. We're going on what we want to happen. So I would love to see a traditional Survivor Series tag match come back, and we do Team Cena versus Team, whatever. That necessarily doesn't really matter. But it would be Cena teaming up with all the guys that he fought this past year. So it's Cena, Orton, CM Punk, and then Sammy, R-Truth, Sami Zayn. What is it, 5-on-5? So R-Truth, Sami Zayn. But you got to get Randy and Punk in there for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So you get Cena teaming with all the guys that he fought this past year that are his greatest rivals versus some rivals that he's had over the years that he has not faced this year and he will not face this year, such as Rusev, Sheamus, maybe a Rey Mysterio if Rey Mysterio is cleared. I know people will go, well, why would Rey Mysterio be teaming with Rusev? Well, listen, that's how these Survivor Series tag matches work, is that it's random and there's always some sort of dysfunction. So Rey Mysterio teaming up with them, not necessarily because he wants to, but because he wants to wrestle John Cena one last time. That's his motive to join this team. So Rusev, Sheamus, Rey Mysterio, guys like that. Like I said to you, maybe we convince Wade Barrett to come back for one match where he doesn't have to bump. He doesn't have to bump a bunch. But yeah, basically Team Cena, and him teaming up with the guys that he had as his rivals that he's now in the past year already wrestled, that he teams up with, versus guys that are his rivals from years past that he probably isn't going to wrestle. But, he's only got 4 dates left. I don't see him wrestling Rusev or I mean, yes, Sheamus if your idea goes through, but if not, I don't see him wrestling Sheamus. So I think that would be really, really cool to do.
Yeah, that'd be dope for sure. I mean, I'm just in favor of that 5v5 happening again, regardless.
Right.
But
I got my.
What is there a sniper looking at you? What the fuck?
No, I didn't realize my camera is not plugged in, so it's got 5 minutes of battery left before it dies. So I gotta plug that in so you can entertain the audience.
We gotta wrap this up, guys. We gotta wrap this up. We're gonna end it quick.
You can entertain the audience real quick while I plug this in.
Oh boy, here we go. Let's see. How can I entertain you guys real quick? This podcast episode is going to be sponsored by fucking tiny ass Funko Pops that were on my desk for some reason. This is a tiny ass Superman, which for some reason is in a very much bigger box. It almost looks like there should be something with him, but there's
I think
not.
we're good.
It's just tiny Superman. And
You can literally not even see that Superman.
You really can't. It's so fucking tiny. I don't know why he's in such a big box, but he's very tiny, and that's our sponsor, Tiny Superman in a big box.
Yes. All right, I think I'm good. The battery thing disappeared, so I gotta look up these Vision Quest info though. So Vision Quest.
Is this a new show?
This is a new show. It's not necessarily a new show because it's been announced for a while, but now I guess they're finally. I think they already filmed it, but now they're starting to really kind of. Paul Bettany did like a couple Comic-Cons, so he's been talking about it recently, and I think they just announced like a release date or something for that. So I just wanted to talk about it because obviously now they're kind of ramping up here.
Right.
But I gotta find the details here because I didn't save the details unfortunately. So sorry, we're just all over the place today. It's gonna be one of those days.
This is one of those days.
Okay, yeah. So alongside Paul Bettany returning as Vision, he will be playing White Vision. And White Vision, I think he said, White Vision doesn't have any memories, but he can still feel emotions. We know that we're going to find, so from what was, talked about or whatever, he's going to basically, have his own version of Westview, but it's going to be, inside of his own brain. And so it's gonna be it's gonna be a Tron situation where it's gonna be an AI grid situation, but it's gonna be his own neighborhood. So have you ever seen the comic book cover of Vision outside of a house in a sweater with a whole family and stuff like that?
I think I've seen that. Yeah,
I think that's the route they're going, where he's gonna be kind of doing his own Westview and he's gonna have his own family, but it's not gonna be like Billy and Tommy. It's gonna be robots and stuff like that. But I know that. James Spader is coming back to play Ultron.
Yes.
So that's the biggest news. but I believe he's going to be playing a real life version of Ultron, like a human version of Ultron, as well as I believe Jarvis and Friday. Basically, like, all the AIs that we've seen in the Marvel universe are going to be in this show, but they're going to be playing like real versions of themselves within like Vision's mind or something like that. So very interesting. I'm very intrigued to see where this all goes. Yes, basically, yeah.
Okay, I can
So
fuck with that.
very intrigued to see where this goes. They did say that this is like the finale in the trilogy between WandaVision, Agatha, and now Vision Quest. So that intrigues me because now I want to see where, if they're very adamantly saying this is like the finale of the trilogy of like the Wanda TV saga, then I feel like some shit really needs to go down with Agatha and Wanda and Billy and Tommy to kind of wrap this up. So yeah, I'm very interested. There's not a lot of details in general, so I don't know where the story is going to go. Last time we saw Billy was with Agatha as they were off to go find Tommy, so hopefully they come into this show and this is where he ends up finding Tommy. We do know that Tommy has been cast, so I'm assuming it is in this show that Tommy is going to be coming in. So yeah, I'm intrigued. Kind of similar to Wonder Man, where we do know about this character, but I'm very intrigued, and I will say I'm definitely more excited for this show than Wonder Man, just because we do know this character, and it just seems kind of like a more exciting premise, I guess. So yeah, I don't
really like the concept of it a lot.
I'm not sure if there's like more details that I'm missing, but that's kind of the premise of it. So
I fuck with it. It sounds cool.
Yeah. All right, I want to talk about good old Andrade for a second here, because I'm sure you've seen what's been going on the past couple of days here.
I think I just saw this on Twitter yesterday. Yeah.
So Andrade obviously left WWE and has returned to AEW. He showed up on Dynamite a few weeks ago. I believe attacked Kenny Omega, my glorious King Kenny Omega, and immediately aligned himself as the newest member of the Don Callis family. But then he kind of disappeared, and they did a whole like Don Callis toast kind of vignette with all of the Don Callis family except for Andrade and Takeshita. But Takeshita sent in like a video message because he's obviously in Japan and he's now the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Congratulations to him. But Andrade, there was no video message from Andrade. There was no mention of Andrade at all. So he is just off the grid when it comes to AEW. Literally 1 week, well, a couple weeks, but after 1 week of showing up and making his big return, he has been, exiled from being mentioned or shown on AEW, medias. So this obviously opened up a whole floodgate of reasons as to why. I've seen a lot of people, theorizing as to why and whatnot. I guess everybody just needs to find a reason to hate on AEW because I've seen an insane amount of hate towards AEW, which I don't understand. But it seems like what had happened was Andrade, he was released from WWE with cause. Like, they released him because he violated, like, a wellness policy and he was doing drugs or something like that, and that's why they released him. So the craziest thing was, if you're released, like, normally if if your contract is up, I don't believe you have, like, a 90-day no-compete. You do have, like, a 90-day no-compete if you're released, right? That's why you see, like, Dakota Kai, she's technically still hasn't done anything, but like she wasn't able to do anything for 90 days after release. Cora Jade wasn't. But if your contract expires, like Karrion Kross, you could show up anywhere the next day, right? I believe he was released and then showed up, and people were like, maybe he doesn't have a 90-day no compete clause, even though he was released, and things like that. It seems to be the fact that this is wild to me. Normally you have the 90-day no compete. But if you get fired for a reason like, the wellness policy, you actually have a year-long no-compete clause.
Year-long?
Yes, yeah. So, yeah, not to laugh at the mistake here, but, man, yeah, so we may not be seeing Andrade on AEW television for a while, for a year, if that is true.
We might not be seeing him anywhere for a while at this rate, if
right.
It's a year-long clause.
Right.
Shit.
So, yeah, apparently this is the thing that it was in like from what I saw, and I didn't read too much into this, but from what I saw, like it was kind of a rare thing in the old contracts that it could happen, but it didn't happen. Like it wasn't in a ton of old contracts, but apparently now since TKO has taken over, every TKO contract has that in there, and so that's why it's so wild to us, is because we haven't really experienced that, because nobody that's been fired under the TKO reign has been fired for a reason like that. So yeah, that's why it's so foreign to me. But yeah, I want to talk about that because that is wild. Like that's a crazy thing to kind of occur, and then it also brings up the question: how did Tony Khan not know about this? Because obviously he signed the guy, and WWE had to send Tony Khan a cease and desist, which I'm sure WWE actually loved that that they were able to tell Tony Khan to knock it the fuck off, even though Tony Khan Tony Khan didn't do that intentionally. He definitely had no clue. He's not gonna try and get himself into legal trouble to try and big dick WWE. He's not gonna do that. So
Right, yeah.
he definitely either didn't know or just was not informed by Andrade. Maybe Andrade didn't know. I don't know, but it is a crazy situation. And long story short, yeah, we may not be seeing Andrade for a very long time.
I don't see it really being much of a case in where Andrade didn't know that. But I definitely see him a little more as a fumble on the AEW legal team more than anything. I feel like they probably should have figured that one out through like past contracts and stuff like that. I feel like they probably could have done a little bit more research into that. But a year long no compete clause is still very crazy to me.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this story continues to unfold, I guess, as the weeks go along. But our last piece of news is going to be some Wicked news as we inch closer and closer and closer to the release date of Wicked for Good, and we do have a Wicked review for our November review that we are going to do, as well as we're going to do a bonus review, obviously, for Wicked for Good after we see the movie. Not our normal kind of franchise to talk about, but honestly, Wicked is my favorite musical, and it's also become a fan favorite for Theo there since he saw the movie last year. So we're integrated with the Wicked hype, so we're definitely going to make some content with that. But I want to talk about John Chu, the director, our glorious king, Mr. John Chu, the director of Wicked and Wicked for Good. He has said, "Wait till you see who is doing the voice of the Cowardly Lion. We got a huge actor to play the voice of the Cowardly Lion, and they are
John Travolta.
they're not. Yeah, maybe. They're not going to reveal who it is until the premiere. I believe the actor will be at the premiere on the red carpet, and that's when the world will find out who is voicing the Cowardly Lion. So, Theo, who is your actual pick going to be for the voice of the Cowardly Lion?
I have no fucking idea.
It can go anywhere, man. It can go anywhere.
I truly don't know. Man, it kind of really sucks. You know what we need to do? I need to really rewatch The Wizard of Oz because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, same.
So that's why I'm really kind of lost as to where this can really go into any direction. Because it's like I haven't seen the original movie forever, and that's really my only point of reference to the Cowardly Lion. So I really don't have much to say. But I mean, if they're hyping this up, I assume it's got to be someone big. It's obviously got to be someone big. I don't know, but if it's going to be someone big in a movie sense or in like a musical theater sense, because that's
they said I think they said it's a big name actor. So when I hear that, I kind of go off of like a blockbuster movie kind of thing.
God, it's so fucking stupid that the first name that came into my head was Chris Pratt. I hate that so much.
yeah.
Because it's just like that's like the last thing I'd want, and yet that's the first thing that popped into my head.
Right. Jared Leto.
Way to kill the franchise right off the fucking ringer. God damn.
Oh,
if that motherfucker pops onto my screen and it's Jared Leto, I'm walking out the fucking theater. I'm done. I can't be disappointed twice by the same man in one year.
Right.
I can't do it. Shit. I feel like also it has to be someone that's not like... Because there was also, like, Timothy Chalamet was a name that popped into my head, but also at the same time, I feel like he's too scrawny for that role. I feel like
but he's not playing the lion. He's just doing the voice of the lion, so it could be anybody.
But then in that case, I really can't go with Timothy Chalamet either, because I don't think he has the voice of the lion either.
But he's a cowardly lion, so he may not have some deep, you know what I'm saying? I feel like the Cowardly Lion may have.
Bill Hader's my vote.
I feel like the Cowardly Lion may have a higher pitched voice than a normal lion would.
Well, what do you got? What do you got? I'm
Honestly,
awful name choices here.
Not too far off from Timothée Chalamet. I think maybe Tom Holland.
Tom Holland was also a name that came into my head, but I don't want it either.
Maybe Chris Hemsworth. I feel like if we're going off a big name, I feel like Chris Hemsworth actually could work too.
Chris Hemsworth could do it. I think he could do it. I could see that.
Yeah, I can see it too.
It's almost to a similar extent to Thor in a case.
Right.
He's like super strong and stuff like that. But
he's like kind of goofy.
Fear
right.
And goofiness into him. Yeah, I think Chris Hemsworth could win. I
feel like that might be the pick.
That could be a good pick there.
You know who I would really like? Another Chris that isn't Chris Pratt that I would actually like. I would like. We're just going off of Avengers actors now. I would actually like Chris Evans to be the Cowardly Lion. I think that would be really fun if Chris Evans did the voice of the Cowardly Lion.
That would be very fun. That'd be very, very fun. I think he could have a lot of fun with that role. I wouldn't be mad at that either. I just like Chris Evans a lot. So anything.
This is true. Who doesn't?
Could be very, very fun.
They got Pedro Pascal.
I want to throw out just like I want to try and see if I can think of just another far off name.
Jack Black.
Fucking Luis Guzman.
There you go. Yeah. They got Jenna Ortega.
Jenna Ortega. Get the whole Wednesday cast up in there.
Right.
Fuck it.
Right. All right. If y'all want, please put in the comments who you think may be the voice
names
for the Cowardly Lion, because I'm very intrigued to see who this is going to be.
How awful our suggestions are.
I don't know. I don't know when exactly the New York premiere is. I saw a schedule, but I didn't memorize it. But when that New York premiere is going down, because I would imagine that's what they're talking about, because that's the big one. I will be paying attention because I really am excited to see who it is that's going to be.
It's got to be a week prior or something like that.
Maybe.
Close enough to the movie actually dropping. But
that's when the premiere normally is. It's normally a week before the movie actually releases. So, all right, let's dive into our actual discussion here before we wrap up. Something that I've thought about: what is a character within either the Marvel or DC world that deserves their own TV show or movie? I have a whole list of people here because I really thought about this.
I should have made a list, but honestly, there are already names popping into my head that I could rattle off, and weirdly enough, a lot of them are Batman villains. I think just because of how successful the Penguin was, I think you could really take a lot of different Batman villains and go in so many different directions for shows and stuff like that. Especially because they're already doing Clayface as well, even though that's more of a James Gunn thing. I think they could definitely go in a whole lot of directions with that as well.
I wanna give one before we really dive into this.
Yeah.
I wanna give one off rip that isn't Marvel or DC. It's actually Star Wars. Even though this isn't the topic, I just want to throw this out there because I thought of it. A TV show I would love, either live action, but probably more so in the Clone Wars style. A Quinlan Vos solo show, I think would go fucking hard. Yeah, that would go so hard.
That'd be awesome. You do like your Quinlan Vos though.
I do like some Quinlan Vos.
But I could definitely fuck with something like that.
Especially if it explores the him after he buries Ventress, but then obviously we know she gets resurrected. So if it explores his timeline after that and how they kind of converge, because I would imagine at some point they probably do meet again. So it'd be cool to do a show like that converges and follows the similar timeline, and then they kind of converge in the finale. That'd be really cool.
I'm gonna be honest, man. As you're explaining this just sounds like it's gonna be the next premise of the next Tales of whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably your best bet at that point is just getting another Tales. Fuck. Let's see. Off the top of my head, Two-Face. Obviously, I gotta give Two-Face that. He's one of my favorite DC characters. I think doing a show. I've been reading. He's got a new solo comic line coming out every month or so, and I've been reading along with that, and that's been very fun. I think if they do a show with him, I think that could be very fucking cool because I think he's one of my favorite characters.
Right.
Who else? Man, shit. Fuck. Darkhawk. In terms of Marvel, Darkhawk.
There you go.
Darkhawk is super underrated. A lot of people don't even know who Darkhawk is, but I fucking love Darkhawk. Ever since I saw him as a teenager in a random ass Marvel comic, I was like, holy shit, this guy has so much fucking aura. He is so fucking cool. I think a Darkhawk show would be sick as hell, or a movie.
That would be cool.
Anything. Give me more Darkhawk. That's all I want.
Right. That'd be cool. My number one, out of anybody, any character, and again, maybe it's just a more of a bias because I love this character. I would love a TV show for Nightwing. I think that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
We did get the Titans TV show a few years ago. I watched like every season except the last one, I believe. It wasn't even that great, even the seasons that I did watch. I think I was just watching it because it was Titans, but I didn't really actually enjoy it. So a solo like Dick Grayson Nightwing TV show for HBO, I think would be really, really cool. So that's my number one for sure. But let me just rifle off a few that I would like to see on a Marvel way. I know a lot of people say a movie for this, and I could definitely see a movie, but I think a TV show would also be cool for Gambit with Channing Tatum. I think that would be really cool. A sleeper pick, and maybe I'm still holding out to my Anna Kendrick fan cast here, but a TV show for Squirrel Girl would be very fun, especially if they don't go with it.
At some point.
And if they don't go with Anna Kendrick, because obviously still beautiful, but she's obviously like older now. If they want to do like a younger thing, I think that could really appeal to a lot of like young kids. If like there's a young girl with squirrel powers, I think would be really, really cool. Movie that a lot of people have talked about that I think would be really cool is a Midnight Suns movie. That's been rumored at this point for years with Moon Knight and Doctor Strange and Ghost Rider and shit like that. That shit would go way too hard, bro. The TikTok edits from just the trailer for that movie would be absolutely insane, bro. Absolutely insane. Movie wise, we already got one and it was horrible, but I'm holding out hope for the DCU to pull it through. Flash. I need a Flash movie, a good Flash movie.
Yeah.
A TV show I think would be cool would be Static Shock. He obviously already had a TV show, but if they did a live action version of like that TV show, I think that would be fire. A movie for DC that I think would be cool. You did not see Black Adam, but I did, and honestly, it wasn't even that bad. Like, it really wasn't a bad movie. It was just it's just a movie that exists. My favorite character out of that whole movie was Pierce Brosnan's Dr. Fate. I would love a Dr. Fate movie. A Dr. Fate movie would go so hard. I think that'd be great. I think that'd be awesome.
John Constantine is a big magic user in that universe. I think he definitely needs a show or movie at some point for sure as well.
Right. Batman Beyond is another one that people have wanted for years, whether it's a movie or a TV show, so that's another one. Movie-wise, as well, for Marvel, I think would be really cool. That, again, people have wanted for years, and I'm pretty sure it's on the way at this point, would be Nova. I love Nova. I think he's a really cool character. So if he finally gets... I think the rumor, and I'm not sure if... Because last time I saw something about this was definitely like a year ago, was that they were going to do like one of those like Marvel special presentations like Werewolf at Night or the Guardians Holiday Special for Nova. So if they do that, I think it would be really, really cool. And my last two, I would love, this may sound so stupid, not even necessarily a TV show, but I would love if it's like kind of like a TV show of like shorts, kind of like a Smiling Friends situation where it's like just like a 10-minute episode each thing for Adam Warlock. Just Adam Warlock just going through, just hear me out. Adam Warlock in like a 5-10 minute episode every week for like 10 weeks, just going through the galaxy, just trying to figure. He doesn't have a mom. He's still with the Guardians in a sense, but like he's gonna want to branch out and go out on his own a little bit. So it'd be like just a comedy show of Adam Warlock just like trying to figure out how just life works, trying to figure out how like the coffee maker works, and then at the end of the episode, same episode, trying to figure out how the coffee maker works, but then he's also in like this crazy diplomatic like war that he had, like just crazy shit where he's trying to figure out how the world works in like these shorts. I think it would be great, and I think
that'd be fucking awesome. I'd love that.
Yeah, I think that would be really, really cool. And my last one is going to be another, like, I think a normal TV show would be cool for Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman. I think that'd be a pretty cool thing to do. So that's my list of crazy shows and things that I would like.
Green Arrow is one of my favorite comic heroes of all time. This man is so fucking goated. Arrow as a show sucked. I need an actual, legitimate Green Arrow show or movie that does the character right. I think where the DCU is going now, I think they do a lot of good stuff that's very faithful to a lot of the comics and whatnot. And I feel like if you can get Green Arrow in there, I think that could lead to a lot of entertaining stuff for sure. I'd fuck with that.
Yeah,
heavy.
I think that'd be really cool for sure. Any others that you wanna throw in there?
Ooh, I'm looking around the room.
I would like a Superman sequel and a Superman TV show, and an animated TV show.
Yes. I would want that, but they're already pretty much doing it anyways, and already have been doing it pretty much anyway. But There's probably a good number of fucking characters like the list. They're just not coming to my head right now. I don't
What's like an animated show that you? Because I kind of gave the Quinlan Voss answer. What would be like an animated show? Because we're just talking about live action, but what would be a good like? Let's take this character and put them in an animated format.
You know what I'd kind of like? I mean, it's kind of similar to that, but also like we already have technically gotten it. I'd love a little like animated show that's kind of similar to that in like the 10-15 minute range where it just kind of does some comedy stuff. But it's the Fantastic Four show, and each episode features a different member doing some sort of crazy task where they have to use their powers and stuff like that. Maybe it could be one where it's like we follow Mr. Fantastic trying to be a dad. We could try to follow one of like the Thing going through the streets and stuff like that, having to deal with people and stuff like that. I think it's kind of already been tackled in the movie sense, but like I feel like in an animated show, maybe like a 2D classic animation style from like the 60s or something like that, where it follows like some funny storylines, I think could be very entertaining.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think too, if we want to do an animated show, I think on a DC aspect, I would love to see a movie with. Well, we got 2 movies with this character, but I would like to see a new DCU version movie, but also an animated show. I think would be really cool for Shazam. I think that would be awesome. If we took Shazam,
I can fuck with that. Yeah.
right, as an animated show, especially too, again, I think that would really appeal to a lot of kids, seeing as how the main character is an actual child. I think if they put that in an animated format, that could definitely get a lot of kids interested in watching for sure.
Right.
Or us, because I just love the character. I think it'd be really, really cool.
Yeah. In a similar sense to the Fantastic Four idea I had, I just kind of also thought of you could probably do the same thing with the X-Men in the same situation, but make it even more episodes because there's just so many more X-Men to really kind of go with there.
Yeah, it's called X-Men 97, bro.
Shit, yeah, you're right. That exists. Yeah. Okay, never mind. Scratch that. They already did it, and they already did it very, very well.
Oh shit!
But I don't know where they're gonna go with it.
Oh man, yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see where season 2 goes. But all right, I think that's all the time we got for this week. So, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all watching and listening. Again, leave a comment who you think is going to be the Cowardly Lion, and leave a comment on who or what TV shows in the Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Harry Potter, whatever fandom you want, what character deserves a movie or a TV show that has not really gotten one. Yeah, shout out to WNRN.
A Dobby show?
Best character. Best character. All right, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to WNRN as always.
Yes.
And with that, we will see y'all next week.